What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including why Rusev chose AEW, Nia Jax calls out the WWE to stop photoshopping her, AJ Styles comments on WWE's Cameo ban, bad news for Ivar, Vince fires a long-term employee and good friend, the latest Royal Rumble 2021 plans, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Our first news is huge, as Miro debuts in AEW, but why did he choose the promotion? Now, the burly brawler showed up on the 9th September edition of Dynamite, surprising AEW fans when he was revealed as Kip Sabian's best man for Sabian's upcoming marriage to Penelope Ford. Miro took the microphone and blasted the WWE, stating he'd been chasing an imaginary brass ring for 10 years, but now he mentioned, well, you can take that brass ring and shove it up your ass. AEW fans reacted positively to Miro as Miro Day chants could be heard. As you might know, Miro spent 10 years in the WWE before his release on 15th April's Black Wednesday. The talented big man started off strong when he debuted on the main roster, but lost momentum after a feud against John Cena, never receiving a sustained push. The big man from Bulgaria was vocal about his WWE push during his time in the company, and now he has an opportunity to prove whether he was misused. But why did he sign with AEW of all places? Why not go to Impact? Why not go to New Japan Pro Wrestling? Maybe why not stay on Twitch? As there's no doubt that Miro had many opportunities, not only in terms of wrestling, but also endeavors such as his Twitch account. First, there's no reason he can't continue streaming through Twitch, especially since AEW has a much lighter schedule. AEW apparently has no restrictions on its talent working with third-party platforms, unlike the WWE, so that is not even an issue. As for wrestling, the former Bulgarian brute likely had offers from a variety of promotions including New Japan Pro Wrestling and Impact. Both promotions likely offered him competitive deals, but in the end, the major factor for signing with AEW is that the promotion is seen as the biggest promotion in North America next to WWE. Now, Miro and AEW have reportedly been talking for some time. Fightful.com reported this, as well as the news that Miro had a long-term deal pending an option on the deal. It's clear that he has something to prove, namely that he's an extremely talented performer whom the WWE underutilized. Now, he could have worked in Impact, but if he did succeed there would always be arguments that he was a big fish who succeeded in a small pond, as opposed to the much bigger pond of AEW. Rusev has a huge opportunity with AEW, and his fans will be eager to see what he does with it. Rusev's former WWE partner in crime, Aiden English, tweeted, "I'm proud and happy for my friend. Go kill it, buddy." Now, on the show, Rusev did shoot on the WWE, and he says that he meant everything he said on Dynamite. After the show, Miro took to YouTube to stress that he meant every word of his promo on Dynamite, talking about that imaginary brass ring.
If you haven't heard any of the promo or anything I said, I really meant that. 10 years, the same roof, glass ceiling, always pitched that there's this brass ring, this imaginary brass ring that I already told you what to do with that brass ring. I felt all the things, and I do feel all these things still. That's why I believe this is not just a promo per se, but those were my feelings. I do feel like I am the best, and I do feel the thing that I said about the brass ring.
Miro likely has more to say, but he may let his in-ring work do the talking for him from this point on, as that's the best way to prove he was right about being misused in the WWE. What are your guys' opinions on Rusev going to AEW? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, some wild rumors as the WWE's latest Royal Rumble 2021 plans. As the pandemic continues making long-term plans difficult, the WWE is trying to piece together its live event schedule for big shows such as the Royal Rumble. According to WrestleVotes, the WWE is still hoping for a Rumble in front of paying fans. He tweeted, "Ask what the Royal Rumble location plans are. Learn that the WWE has a city in mind and are looking to get back to live crowds prior to that. However, they are keeping an eye on what the NBA and NHL do for next season regarding fans and capacity levels." At this point, any planning by the WWE is likely wishful thinking, as the promotion has repeatedly had to reschedule live events with paying fans. The WWE had hoped for paying fans at the end of last July, only to be forced to cancel these events. Next up, Nia Jax is calling out the WWE to stop photoshopping her. Nia Jax has a strong message for the WWE concerning its use of digitally altering her image. Pretty much, stop doing it. Taking to Instagram, one half of the current WWE Women's Tag Team Champion stated, "I get that Facetune is a thing now, but I'm not a big fan. I wear enough makeup and have great hair installed to pick up where I lack in looks. Facetune is a bit much. Yes, in my untouched pic, you can see a big zit on my chin. Whatevs. I have asked WWE to please replace my obviously face-tuned pic with the untouched. I'm not happy with the message it sends." Nia Jax's in-ring work may be a little bit ugly, but her physical appearance is fine, and it's refreshing to see her standing up for representations of all body shapes and sizes. Now, if only there was software for tuning up Jax's wrestling, her opponents could breathe a sigh of relief. Next up, the WWE releases a longtime employee Gerald Briscoe. Longtime WWE employee Gerald Briscoe has been released from the WWE after roughly 36 years with the promotion. On 10 September, TalkSport's Alex McCarthy tweeted, "Gerald Briscoe says WWE let him go last night. Briscoe has been with the company since 1984 and played a huge part in recruiting some of the biggest stars the company ever signed, most notably Brock Lesnar." Briscoe responded, "Okay, want to get this right out of the way. Last night I received a call from WWE Chairman of the Board Vince McMahon to let me know after 36 years of dedication to WWE, I'm no longer needed. I'm okay with this. I will still be around to help talent. More info will follow, thanks." The 73-year-old wrestler turned road agent was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2008 alongside brother Jack. The fans are already expressing their disgust that McMahon released a longtime associate over the telephone rather than in person. Next up, AJ Styles comments on the Cameo ban. AJ Styles is one of several WWE superstars on Twitch, which could prove problematic after the WWE ordered its wrestlers to cease all deals with third parties like Twitch and Cameo. The Phenomenal One talked about this situation during a recent Twitch stream saying, "Let's talk about the stream. Is it going to continue? And from the contacts I've had, the information I got is WWE does want us to interact with our fans, and that means streaming. They want this to happen. They want you to have a YouTube channel. There are things they want you to do and be able to do, and what we know was a little vague at first." AJ Styles, like many wrestlers, seemed unsure of what the future holds regarding third-party interaction. He also seems to be sympathetic to the WWE's viewpoint, stating, "We did different things, and it was borderline whether we knew we could do it or not, and so those will be answered, but streaming, I don't think will be one of those that are taken away. YouTube is not one of those that will be taken away. There will be changes in other areas, I'm sure of it, and I don't know exactly where that is. But let me say this again, they, the WWE, want us to be able to stream and interact with our fans, and that's exactly what we're doing. That's exactly what I'm doing. From Adam Cole to Breeze and Xavier Woods, Baron Corbin, it's what we do. It's fun." Although the WWE seems to have scaled back the push of its third-party ban, wrestlers are still concerned with the company making a cash grab for money-making opportunities on Cameo when there's no language in their contract stating that the WWE can do so. Do you think the WWE should be able to grab a slice of its wrestlers' third-party money-making opportunities? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, the Performance Center stalker sends a 7-page letter to WWE. Armando Alejandro Montavolo, not to be confused with former WWE manager and ECW general manager Armando Alejandro Estrada, he's at it again, sending a letter to the WWE's attorney from the jail where he's being held for trespassing at the WWE PC. Montavolo, aka the Performance Center stalker, has repeatedly prowled the WWE property and was shot outside the PC when he charged at a police officer with a rock. Next up, the WWE wins the appeal on concussion lawsuits. It's good news for the WWE and bad news for the wrestlers who filed a class action lawsuit against the promotion, claiming the company hid dangers of concussions. According to the report by the Associated Press, a federal appeals court dismissed a lawsuit Wednesday that had been filed by 50 former pro wrestlers, many of them stars in the 80s and 90s, who claimed Royal Wrestling Entertainment failed to protect them from repeated head injuries, including concussions that led to long-term brain damage. The Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in New York City agreed with a federal judge in Connecticut who tossed the lawsuits 2 years ago, saying many of the claims were frivolous or filed after the statute of limitations expired. The WWE praised the decision, issuing a statement regarding the case which has gone on for 6 years. Here's a quick excerpt. We are grateful for the attention paid to these cases by the numerous federal judges who oversaw the litigation and to the Second Circuit for its decision. But even though the Concussion lawsuit is over, you can probably imagine that those wrestlers involved won't be invited to next year's Hall of Fame. And finally, bad news for Ivar. Now, Ivar was injured during the 7th September Raw when he dove out of the ring and even threw up an X sign on himself, signifying he was injured. While it was initially believed that the big man's injury wasn't serious, Dave Meltzer recently reported that Ivar's injury may be worse than thought. Nothing is for sure, but it has not been determined whether or not he will need surgery. It's a significant injury. Once you say that, it tells you that it's not like a stinger where you're going to come back in 2 weeks. It's probably a lot worse than that. So it's not determined yet, but it's absolutely, as of today, a possibility. Although the Viking Raiders have not been pushed consistently, they've shown a talent for working as badass brawlers as well as comedy characters. We're sending our wishes for the fast and full recovery to Ivar. But there you have it, guys, the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Facebook for exclusive lists, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.